So we're outlining Psalm chapter 1. So what do you think the theme of Psalm chapter 1 is? Give me some answers.
Benefits of living in God's law.
What was that?
Benefits of living in God's law.
Benefits of living in God's law. What are some other ones?
The blessed man and the ungodly.
Blessed and ungodly man. Any others?
Seeking God is the way to righteousness.
Seeking God the way to righteousness. Any others? Well, those are all good. Now, after each assignment, I'll give you guys a copy of the answer sheet, but the answer sheet also has a little note on every single one of the answer sheets. Note, this is only an example of outlining and charting. This is not a complete work. It's not a definitive answer, which means you might have the right answer, and this might have the right answer, but it's what you believe the Holy Spirit is speaking to your heart and coming up with an answer. So that's why it was important to pray first. Allow God to work in you and through you to come up with his answer. So this is the answer that we have on our answer sheet that I'm going to hand out to you guys next week. On the answer sheet, they have two things basically: the happy man or how to be blessed. Both of them are right. The answers that you guys gave are right. So, anybody have any other answers similar to that? Anybody have an answer that is like totally different? No? All right. Well, let's move on. All right. So outlining. There's basically two different divisions in Psalm chapter 1, which made it real easy to outline. We had verses 1 to 3. That's the blessed man. And then verses 4 to 6, the wicked man, or the ungodly man. So if you have something like that, that's a simple outline of Psalm chapter 1. Very simple. It's not complex. We're taking baby steps. And then next week we're going to be building upon it. You're going to be using Psalm chapter 1 in our charting for next week. In fact, since we have a what? Yeah, I was looking at the clock up there and I'm like, it's not 12:40. 6:40. Since it's only 6:40. Wow, that was fast.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on, and we'll start assignment number 2. Yeah.
I must have done mine wrong, because I broke it down. I put 1 as verses 1 through 3, but then I did an A and B underneath that. And then 2 was verses 4 through 6, the ungodly. Break that down. That's not what you want.
You could break it down even further if you wanted to. If that's what you wanted to do, if you wanted to go deeper, if you wanted to take the backhoe, option, that's fine. No, right now we're just doing the simple outline form, so the simple outline form would look like this. But if you wanted to go deeper, that's perfectly fine. Remember, studying the Bible is as far as deep as you want to go. As deep as you want to get in your relationship with Jesus. Okay? If you want to have a relationship that just scratches the surface, go to Sunday church maybe, and go to Wednesdays maybe, and call it good, and scratch the surface, that's your prerogative. Or if you want to take the backhoe experience and dig deep and look for all those nuggets that God has, that's the route. So it's up to you, between you and your relationship with God. Yeah,
I guess to sort of agree with Dale, I feel that even in a simple outline, those two things should get separate Roman numerals.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that.
I
Like
just
that?
didn't want to be wrong with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
And that's perfectly okay too.
Or I guess maybe the more productive question would be, in outlining, like apart from below Roman numeral 1, like what are some good guidelines for what should get its own Roman numeral?
That's a good question. All right, so we're breaking this down. The first Roman numeral, you want to break out between verses, all right? And then below that, if you want to break it down into individual verses or even words, so you got verses 1 to 3 is the blessed man. You can go verse 1. And what's verse 1 say?
Who is blessed?
What does verse 1 say?
Blessed is the man who walks not in the
All right.
counsel.
Blessed. Actually, you can do verse 1a, blessed. B, walks. C, well, read that verse again. Blessed is the man who walks.
Not in the counsel of ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners.
Counsel. Verse 2. What does verse 2 say?
But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and he is law, and in his law he meditates day and night.
All right, so you can break it down. Verses 1 to 3. Verse 1 you have these. Verse 2 you have these. Verse 3 and so on. And then you can go to Roman numeral number 2, verse 4 to 6, and then verse 4, A, and then something. So yeah, you can go as deep as you want to go. So don't be relegated to being scratching on the surface. I want you to use your brain and really think and ask questions, because that's what these are. We're asking questions. Well, what does counsel mean? Well, what is the law? What does meditate mean? How do we meditate? Right? So our observation is a what? Question. Speaking of questions, anybody else have any other good questions like that? All right, so let's move on to assignment number 2 then.
You mean assignment number 3?
Yes. Page 14, assignment number 3. For those of you who are in the shepherd school, you have an additional assignment. Not only do you need to do Psalm 1, but you also have to do Psalm 5. So who's in the shepherd school? Psalm 5.
Is this homework day?
Yes,
Okay.
it is homework.
Okay, I'll just clarify.
And you're going to bring that back next week. So you guys have the additional assignment of doing the same exact thing for Psalm chapter 5.
The outlining or outlining and the charting?
Hey, wait,
Go as deep as you want.
Yeah, Psalm 5. Double check.
Brent asked if it was just the outline or if it's outline and the charting.
Simple outline form only.
Psalm
Same thing
5?
as assignment number 2,
For Psalm 5?
but for Psalm 5, yeah. Simple.
Not simple.
But then, you're gonna take that same psalm for assignment number 3 and chart it as well. But you guys will have a little extra time for that. All right, it's page 14, assignment number 3, charting. Once you have outlined the text, you are ready to break the text apart further by charting it. Charting is used to look very carefully at the text through observation, interpretation, and application, the IBS method. Charting is where it all comes together. Take each section of your outline and go through it verse by verse, noting important words, phrases, and ideas. So, for an example, Colossians chapter 1, verse 1 to 14, we have the observation, state the facts of the text, interpretation, explaining the meaning of the text, and application, make general or specific applications. Now, when you do that application part of it, always use the letter I. How can I apply this? How can I confess this sin? How can I do this? Oh, use I somehow. Use the letter I or in reference to yourself. Because it's your application. It's not, Lord, how can John confess this sin? Or what? Or him. So it's you yourself, not for somebody else. It's how can I apply this to myself? So we're going to have an observation, we're going to ask a question. Interpretation, we're going to interpret what we asked. And then the application, we're going to apply what we just interpreted. Now, here's the key. We're going to go left to right, one at a time. So, you're going to take your outline and you're going to put it in the chart. Great, I don't have any more. Can I borrow someone? All right, so you're going to take your outline and you're going to basically put it in here, but don't automatically write everything in here. Do one line at a time and go from left to right. All right, so the first thing was Roman numeral number 1, verse 1 to 3, the blessed man, and then you can do letter A, blessed. All right, so then in interpretation, write what the word blessed means. And we're not giving you any tools right now to answer that. Those are going to come in the next couple of weeks. But right now, just kind of give it a general interpretation. Just what does it mean to be blessed? God has made you happy, or God has fulfilled you, or
Be filled by grace.
be filled by grace. You know, some quick, jot down just something quick, and then application. How can I be blessed by you, God? Something like that. All right. So that's a personal application. Now, like I said, you want to go from left to right. Do one at a time, and then move down to the next one, and then do the next one, and then move down to the next one. Don't put everything in the observation column, because what's going to happen is you're going to have this small outline here, and then when you come to your interpretation phase, you're not going to have any room. And in your application phase, you're not going to have any more room. So you're going to have to spread it out all the way out. And that's why there's a backside to give you more room. So go one line at a time from left to right, and then move down to the next verse, and then the next verse. Got it? Questions? Yes?
Application in the IBS method. Is that just, that's referring to application, or so what's the breakdown of IBS sometimes?
All right, say that again.
Can you say it louder?
Application of the IBS method? I have a question about, what is the IBS
Well,
method?
IBS is Inductive Bible Study.
Oh, okay.
And observation,
I thought
interpretation,
you were talking about
application.
just like application itself was like further broken out of IBS.
No.
Got it, okay, sorry.
Exactly.
I missed the obvious.
Any other questions?
Really good at that.
So we specifically like verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, or is it the way we broke it down?
It's the way that you broke it down in your outline on top.
Gotcha.
So, the outline that you just made, you're gonna put down in the observation column, Roman numeral number 1, verse 1 to 3. And then below that, verse 1, the word blessed, and then write a definition for that, then make an application for that, and then go down to letter B and write down something else, but always go all the way across. Because if you put your whole outline in the observation column, when you go back and try to do the interpretation, go back and try to do the application, you're not going to have enough room, because you're going to find yourself wanting to write a lot.
Are we supposed to do this now?
Yes, now, go. And you have, 30 minutes. But you already have to meet it with what you have right there in the outline, so. Should be pretty quick. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me, I got the answers right here. So.